Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Bengal Corp's live show. It's the international break weekend, the dreaded international break weekend. But for sure, just a sec, we'll just continue with the show. We're just waiting for our host of tonight, Rupsha, to be on screen. It's a dreaded international weekend. It's one of the most boring days of our life as Liverpool fans. But for sure, we promise to bring your football excitement back with this show we have scheduled for tonight. And today is going to be a special day, and I have with me a lifelong Liverpool supporter from our very own city of joy, a supporter who eats, breathes, and tweets Liverpool throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Please welcome today's main host, Rupsha Das. Hello, Rupsha. How are you?
Hi Krish, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, so looking forward to the show.
Absolutely. Have had this thing in mind for so long and been waiting for this for so long. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day.
So we have had Rupsha in a couple of screenings of ours, mostly the Manchester City screening. We remember with the Henderson Screamer. So that is how she started her Bengal Cup journey. So Rupsha obviously is like a Steven Gerrard fan, like a lot of us, but she probably fancies Ian Rush more than Steven Gerrard. She's always talked about the legend Ian Rush. I mean, her favorite legend. So what do you have to say about that? Is it still Ian Rush or Steven Gerrard or anybody else has taken over that fancy?
I think Ian Rush would be there forever. I am a Steven Gerrard fangirl through and through. But I think if you name the Liverpool legends, Ian Rush would come first for sure.
All right, Rupsha. So, like, this is like, I mean, international weekends. We have never liked international weekends. I mean, of course, it's good to see a World Cup. It's good to see maybe the Olympics or the Copa America. But suddenly, in the middle of the season, we never want. I mean, why? We do never have the answers for that. Why suddenly? It's good to see Liverpool play, and then it's like Liverpool is gone for a week. It feels like a year. So anyway, we should be starting with our show. We have a fantastic set of panelists across the world. We have been planning this for quite some time. This entire show is your brainchild. You wanted this, and this is happening finally. Thank you. So I think we have got a very overwhelming response from a lot of people across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook about this show. So hopefully we'll get a lot of response during the show also. So please take it from here. So you want to
Yeah.
introduce first all our guests into the show?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for that. As you all know, that we have five panelists from all over the world. So we have three international guests and two Indian guests. So I'll introduce with our Indian guests first. So first is Sejal. Sejal is from Vadodara, Gujarat. She's been following Liverpool for around 15 to 16 years, roughly. And along with following the men's team, she also follows the women's team and the academy as well. So we'll just welcome Sejal on screen.
Hi guys,
Hi Sejal, hi. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm all good. How are you guys doing? So finally we are here,
Yeah, yeah. We've been
and I
talking
would like
about
to
this.
thank like Bengal Cop and especially Krish for giving us this platform where we can share our experience and our thoughts about this wonderful family. So I'm quite excited.
That's great to know. I'm excited to chat with you guys too. I'll also quickly introduce Shivangi as well. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think there's one more fact before I introduce our next. There's one more fact about Sejal that I want to say that when Bengalka was quite young, I mean, if whoever is watching this show, they should know that Sejal designed one of our logos. We'll try to share that logo later on, and we'll try to post it on our Facebook page. It was one of our logos. Initially, it stayed on for a couple of years. It was brilliant. It had like all the materials for Bengal and also the Indian flag on the side. It was brilliant. It was very good. Thank you, Sejal, for that logo.
And
And
thanks
anyway,
for giving me the opportunity to do this work. And many of you have supported me in all these years for my work and designs and everything. So especially thanks to you.
you're welcome. Rupsha, over to you for the next guest.
Yeah, I'll just thank you, Krish, and I'll just quickly introduce Shivangi here. So Shivangi hails from New Delhi. She's a recent law graduate. And hi, Shivangi.
Hi, hi, hi.
She's been following Liverpool for 10 years now, and I think Suarez got you into Liverpool, is it?
Technically, or maybe I did not like United more than Liverpool, and it was just one of those things. So the team I
Oops.
started with was Man United. Like, yeah, that's my dirty secret. The team I started supporting back in all the time was Man United, and then I just couldn't love Man United. And then it was just Liverpool, 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 Liverpool. Till the now I'm loyal. I'm loyal supporter now. Please, please.
This is the best Ghar Wapsi
Exactly.
example. Excellent. I
I
mean,
think we are
whoever
glad to have you here,
we
not on
should
the
put up a
other
picture
side.
of Suarez and
Loving
worship him every day.
I can support Atletico Madrid. I hate Barcelona, and it was difficult supporting that man through Barcelona. But now that he's in Madrid, and it's now it's going to be nice.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So Shivangi, how you feeling? How we talked about this for quite some time now. So how are you feeling today coming here? Ghar
So like,
wapasi, as Krish said.
so yeah, the ghar wapasi is really ghar. Liverpool family is a proper ghar, and thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be here and talk it out on an international weekend, especially after the loss that we had before the weekend. It's just one good thing. I'm not going to mention it again. It's the last time we lost. Yes. So yes, thank you guys for just having me here.
Thank you so much, Sejal and Shivangi. We'll chat more in the coming
Sure.
hours as well. I'll just introduce our next guest as well. She's our first international guest. She's from Kathmandu, Nepal. Her name is Pooja. Um, Hi, Pooja.
Hi, hi. How are you?
I just would like to mention for all the East Bengal fanatics there, Pooja started getting into Liverpool because of Robbie Fowler interview. Right, Pooja?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, Pooja? How are you feeling today? How is it? How
Uh,
excited are you to be here?
Very, very excited because this is the first time I've actually had this sort of session with Liverpool fans, international Liverpool fans, because I've been in one session about few months ago, maybe about 2, 3 months ago, with the Liverpool fans here in Nepal, but I've never had this sort of interaction with fans from different countries. So I'm very excited, very, very excited.
That's great to hear. Pooja is also a very ardent Liverpool women's team follower. So I think Sejal and Pooja has something in common and
Yeah,
something to say.
we are going to have, I mean, so many things to discuss
Talk
because,
about it.
yeah, today was not a good day for us, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have this, amazing journey of this female ups and lots of ups and downs. So we'll talk about that. It will, I guess, it will inspire some of you to, support these girls ahead.
Well,
That's great.
definitely. Exactly. This is what we want. I mean, we all know the men's team, but there's a lot of stories about the ladies team too. They are playing well. Of course, there's a lot of there's as Sejal mentioned, there's ups and downs in the team. I used to follow the Liverpool team, and there was Natasha Dowie, Gemma Bonner was part of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
team.
exactly.
Sejal and I used to discuss a lot about those teams. But there has been a small dip, but we are already hoping that a team recoups and finds a better squad, better manager. They're already looking promising. So hopefully we'll have a good discussion about the Liverpool ladies team too tonight. So yes. So moving on, we already have our three panelists here. Moving on to our second international guest. Well, she is from Johannesburg, South Africa. She has been a long time Liverpool supporter and was the vice chairperson of OLSC Gauteng in 2015-2016 season. Well, that is when that supporters club, that official Liverpool supporters club, uh, were chosen as the best OLSC of that year. I mean, being an OLSC ourselves, we understand how big of an achievement that is. She has just a second, just some got insights to give about South African football also, which we are hoping she'll do it when she's on show. So we'll welcome Sarah right now. Hi, Sarah. How have you
Hi
been?
guys, how are you?
Hi,
Can you hear
Sarah.
me?
Hi. Hi, Sarah.
Good. Thank you for not giving away my age, Krish. I appreciate that. That was a very nice introduction. I've been a supporter for a long, long, long time.
You still look like 16.
Yes, and unfortunately, the reason I became a supporter was because of Michael Owen.
You gave it
It's
away
quite
yourself.
disappointing now. So yes, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. I hope we have a good discussion tonight.
Absolutely. Ruksha, on to our next guest for tonight.
Yep. So I'll introduce our last and the final panelist for the evening. Her name is Mariam. She's from London, England, and you guys are going to get so jealous of all of her experiences and all her after street parties. So welcome, Mariam. Hi.
Hi
Hi.
everyone, thanks for having me. And please don't feel jealous. I've been very
Hi,
fortunate,
Mary.
very lucky.
So Mariam is a journalist, and I think Mariam has done quite lot of interviews for a lot of people. So how does it feel to be on the other side of the table, Mariam?
Well, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting to be the person who has to actually have the answers because, normally when you're asking the questions, if you don't like someone or you just want to catch them out, you will ask them something difficult that they don't know about. So hopefully you guys aren't going to do that to me.
Sure, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to chatting with you as well. So we have all our panelists on the screen now. We are all here. So I just want to throw out this question to Shivangi. So Shivangi, how is it without Liverpool for the weekend? How is the international break? How do you feel during this sudden gap of games and international break? How is it like for you?
Honestly, I'm actually very happy that there's an international break right now with the whole Corona situation. Like
Yeah.
Thiago is recovered and walking in the streets again. And we genuinely needed this break, to be very honest. Like we have like 20 more games planned up for the next 3 months. So this break was much needed before the Champions League break, and everyone can just buckle up. And Mane can be back too, hopefully. Please, he can be back, right? So yeah, I'm just okay. Then there's French Open and all the IPL action to help us out. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
fine.
have that. Yeah,
There's a
you have
bit of
that sidekick to watch. Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I think
bittersweet.
it's important. I think it's important to take rest, and I think it's important. Quite a few players injury as well, so I think it's important. So yeah. Um, so okay, Sarah, going with you now. So what's your take on international break? Or like given the situation now? Do you think it's like a good idea to have an international break?
Absolutely. Oops. Sorry about that. Absolutely, yes. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
still hear you, no
Sorry,
problem.
sorry, sorry.
yeah. Sarah is
Sorry about
having to do the live
that.
on her phone, so I think
I
could
think
be a
it's
technical
very good.
glitch here and there.
Yes, apologies.
No
I
problem,
do
no
think the
problem.
international break came at the best time possible, especially since last week's defeat. It was
Mm, mm.
quite something, right?
No one wants to talk about that game.
It was really no, I don't think any of us do. But it was shocking and surprising, and in a way, I thought Villa deserved the win. Probably shouldn't say it live, but yeah,
No, I think they totally did. I think they totally did. They played great. I think they did.
they did. They did. They
They played great, but
definitely they
Liverpool
had
played
the upper hand.
horribly.
So they saw us and they read the situation and they took advantage of it. And I think that's kudos to them.
That's correct. That's correct. Reportedly, Naby Keita also has the virus now. So
But yeah,
yeah. So I think the international break I think was required for the players to rest and get back with a full head.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
It's
absolutely.
the break
Let's
too. I
get the
mean,
players rested, get them all wild again, and let's go again.
So, I mean, obviously, it's a good thing that we're getting players coming back from there, like Mane, Thiago, and a couple of players were having the positive. I mean, COVID, they were COVID positive. But I mean, don't you guys think that international breaks traveling across the world, meeting opponents, you don't even know whether they are safe or not within the bubble? I mean, it's kind of risky. I mean, I'll go back to Shivangi. Like, obviously, we got a report from Syria that we have over 50 players from 8 different teams who are COVID positive right now. I mean, 16 from Genoa, I think, 9 from Inter Milan. So this is all catching up. I mean, is the Premier League going to be about the team with the least number of COVID positive players is going to win the title? Is it going to be like that this season? Shivangi, this is for you.
For me, it's a very black and white situation. If you're having sports, have the 100% of it. Not just limited to England, but just have it for every other country too, right? I mean, some people might not support EPL, but they might support their national teams. So it's just
Definitely.
not fair to give this streaming of sports to a certain number of people. Yes, maybe they could have been more cautious about it and have had thought about stadiums and giving the proper training and testing players very rigorously, but the idea of not letting the sports go away just because there's a virus in the society and when you're already having EPL is not fair. So you couldn't have avoided this, but you could have been more cautious about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes.
Uh, so, Rupsha, over to you. There's a lot of comments we're getting on Facebook. I mean,
I'll just check the comments once.
because there's a lot of overwhelming comments, a lot of
Yeah,
welcome guys. Yes.
yeah. Thank you all for joining all of us, and we are thrilled to have you here. And thank you for seeing the live. Thank you so much. Um, so I think Krish, you would like to ask some questions to Pooja
Uh, what
regarding
was
the
the last question? Right.
ladies team,
Right,
and
right. We're moving on to the main subject. I mean, that is definitely a very vital subject. Of course, we had a bad outing this evening. The Liverpool ladies team lost 2-1 to Leicester City. I think my first question is for Sejal, related to the Liverpool ladies team. Obviously, like we know how successful the men's team have been in the last couple of years, but obviously would want to have the same success for the academy as well as the women's team. So what do you think? I mean, does the women's team play with the same philosophy as the men's team? Have been following the team ardently, so you would know better. Or is it like they have a different philosophy, they have a different approach to the game, and they're taking one step at a time slowly and trying to gain their like momentum, and then they'll come back to the Premier League next time? What's your say on that?
Exactly. The main focus is right now to come back to the main league. We got relegated to the championship last year. And many of you may be knowing this or not, I don't know, but we have won couple of league titles in 13-14 duration. We have seen girls having this lap of honor at the Anfield, and this thing made news that Gemma Bonner nutmegged Suarez. So that made a big news at that time. And we also had Lucy Bronze, who was also part of the team of the year in UEFA Championship for women. So we had many players, amazing players. I mean, you can say world class players. We have Gemma Bonner, we have Farah Williams, we have Natasha Dowie, and right now, other teams like teams from United or teams like Tottenham Hotspur or Arsenal for take. I'm a huge fan of Arsenal ladies, the most consistent team in this female championship or female league, you can say. We are lacking support from the management. This is my personal opinion because when Rogers was here, the female team got the chance to train with the main team. So even the players were, making appearances and, they were asking to support this female team. Since Matt Beal left for Boston and Farah Williams left for Chelsea, then, most of the ladies team left for Manchester City just because they are getting more, more facilities and more exposure and everything. They are getting, better facilities and everything better. We all know this, sheikhs and all, they have better infrastructure. and they are also providing, scholarships for these female players. So if you are getting better opportunities, you are tend to move to other cities. We also have this Katie Zellum, who was a childhood supporter of Manchester United team. So if you look at this United team right now, they have so many Liverpool players. Even their manager is a Liverpool player. She was here for a year, I guess, not more than that. But she built the team from the Liverpool academy and the main team. So now we are left with few players from academy, and as we are relegated to the championship, so it is difficult for us to get this world class player. World class players, I mean by the players are slightly better than the other players.
Right.
So I think we need support from the management. Then we can expect other, the fans to support our team. So for the thing, I was managing this for Gemma Bonner and Natasha Dowie. And I was getting messages from the local, supporters. Hey, Natasha, I saw you there. I watch you on the TV. I see you there, and I feel so proud of you. So you feel that. And in female sports, you see, once the match is over, the fans can go and greet the players. They can connect with the players. So they don't, the players don't feel, like they are not important or they are not supported. Even with the 500 supporters, after the match, couple of players go there and meet them and greet them and encourage them. So I think we need more support from the management. We need, a special management team or, something, some group of people who look over these ladies. This is my personal view.
Right, that was a lot of input from Sejal. Obviously, she has managed a couple of player accounts, their official Twitter handles, and all. So, Sejal has been thoroughly involved in the women's team, like following them for the last, what, 7, 8 years, I believe. So, moving on to, I mean, staying on the same subject, I would like to ask Pooja, like, obviously, Sejal has mentioned about the management coming for support and building in with a better squad, better team. Just let's assume there's that doesn't happen, but the results you have seen in the last few matches, even with the preseason setup and all, do you think with the current setup Liverpool women's team they're capable of coming back to the main league, the Premier League?
Yeah, I think Liverpool have an upper hand in being able to get that promotion this season itself, because we've just been relegated, right? So I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but then we're actually better comparatively. We're better than the other championship teams, right? And also we've had the exposure because we've played against, like Sejal said, we've played against you know teams with better calibers like Manchester City, Chelsea, Everton. So we do have that experience, so we can use that against the other teams, which we can already see that because we've played 5 games till now this season, and we won 3, and we drew 1 against Durham, who are actually at the top of the table right now at present. And we lost against Leicester. Leicester have also been undefeated this season. So I think we do have a better chance at getting promoted with this current team, because we have players. If you look at the players, we have fullback friends. I think if you've watched the Belgian series, you can see Leanne and Jane. They were also featured in one of Bessie's series, I think, last year. So they are back at the fullback. So they're like right back and left back. So I think they're amazing. That partnership is good as well. And if you talk about the forwards, we do have a very good attacking team as well in Rinsola and Furness. Furness already has 5 goals, 6 goals this season, and we've only played 5 games. So I don't think we're lacking in terms of players, but like Sejal said, we do have to. The management has to wake up, because it's not fair that the same year that men's team won the Premier League, the women's team got relegated. That's not fair from our side. So I think, yeah, maybe if the management wakes up a little, maybe then will have a better chance at getting promoted. But with the current squad, we do have a good chance of getting that promotion.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sejal and Pooja. That was really insightful. And if I go with my opinion, I think we need a good promotion of the LFC women's team as well all over the platforms. Because as much as the men's team gets promoted, I don't think the women's team gets promoted, and we don't have the platform where we can see the games as well for the women. Like we only have LFC TV, like we were discussing as well. So I think that also needs to be there. Uh, I think yeah, that's what. We are getting lots of overwhelming comments from a lot of people. So thank you guys for joining all of us. Like I am super overwhelmed because I did not expect so many comments and so many people joining us. So thank you so much. But we have a couple of questions from few of our viewers. So I would like to ask one question from Adip Mukhopadhyay, and that question is for Mariam.
Okay.
Mariam, he asked, will Allison's injury create an important void for us, or will Thiago's creativity overcome and still make Liverpool Premier League title and Champions League title contenders?
Ooh, there's so much in that question. Well, I
It
think,
would-
obviously, Allison is such an important part of the team. You know, we've seen the difference that he has made. You could say, in a way, that we won the Champions League because of him, because we saw what happened when we had, God bless, Karius. So I think, Alison, yes. I mean, you know, in terms of the way in which Liverpool play as well, when they're holding that high line, you need someone who can, you know, a goalkeeper that can play with his feet. And that was the problem that we had with Adrian. You know, he's a shot stopper. He's not someone that necessarily plays with feet. And so you've got this massive gap between him and the defence. And then it was always too late. And you saw just the mistakes and everything happening. So for me, I would say, I mean, obviously, it was amazing. And oh my God, the Thiago song, I cannot stop singing it. You know, just the excitement I think we all had. I mean, if you saw the LSC channel as well, if, you know, we're fortunate to watch that and have a subscription for that one. You know, the kind of media that they were doing on him, the excitement that they built, you know, all of the backroom stuff that they were doing, the social media, all of that. It was so phenomenal the way in which they did that on him, because it showed just how much, you know, he's an amazing, amazing player, and just how much, you know, the fans wanted him and how important he will be for the creativity. But I would still say Allison, 100% Allison.
I think Thiago would be an important player for us. The way he played in his first match, I think it was phenomenal. The way he's getting,
Amazing.
yeah, amazing. The way he's getting gelled along with the team, I think that's what big players do, I suppose. So yeah, I think
He
it's a
literally
big,
had what one training with them, and then he was on the pitch.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was ridiculous. Like, it was just
I
like
don't think he, no, I don't think he had any training. His first practice session was at Stamford Bridge. So I mean, that is what world-class players do. They practice against big teams. So anyway, uh,
Thank you so much, Mariam. Thank you for the answer. We also have got a couple of questions from Tinni Chatterjee, and this question is for Sarah. Uh, she asked, is it a he or a she?
Tin is a
I
she.
think it may have been.
I'll just ask this question to you, Sarah. It's by watching which football player did you start following Liverpool Football Club and eventually understood you're meant to be a Red forever?
Okay, as I said, embarrassingly, it was because of Michael Owen and his debut. In my defense, I was a teenager and he was gorgeous.
he was just a little tween man, though.
So yes, it has been 24 years, guys. I've been supporting Liverpool for 24 years. If you do the maths, you'll figure out I'm the oldest person here. But yes, it absolutely is a lifelong. It is definitely a lifelong thing. It's not going to change. My children are Liverpool supporters. I married a Scouser. We are divorced now, though. We divorced
okay.
now, but I mean, I married a Scouser. My kids are avid Liverpool fans, and this is how I knew, Miriam, that your door at home is red.
Yeah.
I
So
This is
think
the
yes.
right
Mariam
kind of
can relate to
education.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a similar story. So, yeah, really similar to you, Sarah. So I didn't have a choice. I mean, it wasn't even a choice. Supporting Liverpool was just what the family did. So it was my dad's team, and we were like literally babies playing on the street, playing football. And it was always, who are you going to be? You're going to be Liverpool? And you know, the one that got the short straw had to be Everton. No offense to the Everton fans, but there is a but you will not win the league just because you played 3 good games. I'm sorry. But yeah, so it was my dad, and so yeah, you know, all of my sisters, you know, whether we avidly support Liverpool in every match or not, we're Liverpool fans. The entire family's Liverpool, and in fact, when I met my partner, I went to coffee with him, and we were talking, we're having a great time. And then we got onto football. So he was like, okay, this is a girl that actually likes to talk about football or follows football. And then he said to me, oh, you're not going to like the team I support. And I thought, oh my God, it's going to be a new fan. I can't see this guy again. And then he said to me, I support Liverpool. And so I shook his hand and said, nice to meet you. So yeah.
That's great to know.
Was
Just
that the best signing for you?
That was the best moment of my life, honestly.
Best transfer deadline signing for Mariam over there.
I would again like to thank all of you. There are so many questions that are coming through, and we'll ask the questions. Thank you all for all the questions, and we'll ask the questions further if we have time in the future. But there's another question for Sarah from Tinley again. That is, which one is your personal favorite 2019 Champions League win in Madrid or 2005 Champions League win in Istanbul?
Oof. 2005 Istanbul. I'm a massive Vladimir Smitsa fan. Okay. I seem to have a type, right? No, it was definitely the 2005 Istanbul. That was, I mean, we were 3-0 down at half time. And no one thought we could do it. Absolutely no. We all knew we were going to beat Spurs. Come on. There was no doubt. When it was Istanbul, and it was no one saw it coming. We didn't see it coming. We were on the edge of our seats. I had a 6-month-old baby that I kept screaming awake. So
The right kind of parenting.
there we go. Trying not to get too excited. Don't wake the baby. Yes. So that's and the rest is no, that was definitely my favorite. I've actually got the DVD, and every so often I will watch it, and I still get quite emotional seeing Rafa, seeing the players, seeing the fans. The fan reactions are always the best, aren't they? And I think that may have been the driving force in the end. It's just they were all at halftime. They were still singing "You'll Never Walk Alone."
I think Liverpool fans makes it the best. I mean, it's the best thing ever to be among Liverpool fans and be with them. I think that's how I got connected with you guys over Twitter, and it's fantastic. The LFC family all over the world is great. So
True.
So going with the Istanbul final, I think, guys, I don't think anybody's going to agree with me, but the best contribution was made by Milan Baros by moving away from that shot. I mean, that was the best contribution he had in a Liverpool jersey. So thank you, Milan Baros, for letting.
Krish, I'm going to show you something.
Oh
God.
No way.
I had a cat named after Milan Baros.
Without him, we wouldn't have got the fifth. His biggest contribution was from Milan Baros. High five.
You know it.
Sarah, I've just been in common with you again.
Pardon?
I have something in common with you again. So, right. So on the back of my shirt, it's an old shirt. I've got Stevie G written on the back, who was my
Yeah.
forever favorite. And my mum and dad's cat is called Stevie G.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Brilliant.
All right, all right. We'll move on to the next segment. Well, thank you, Adip and Tinni, for sending your set of questions for Mariam and Sarah here. Moving on to our next set of questions is basically we would want to welcome a very special guest from Delhi. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Saubhagya from New Delhi. Welcome, Saubhagya. How has the
Hi
weekend without
everyone.
Liverpool affected you?
Hi,
Hi.
Saubhagya.
So,
Hi.
Hi.
How is everybody
so
doing?
all good, waiting for
Great.
you.
How are
All
you?
good. How are
It's
you?
been great listening to you guys. I was watching the French Open and I'm staring at my laptop and I'm like oh good. All
What's the
good.
score, if you don't mind?
Oh,
Dude,
Nadal won.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank God.
okay.
He's the undisputed king of clay. What can you say?
All right. So Saubhagya, I think, has a couple of questions. The questions are for Shivangi and Pooja. So I think we should go with Shivangi
Yeah.
first. Saubhagya, over to you.
So, Shivangi, my question is, how do you think Thiago and Jota will impact our squad? The possibility and the probability of us winning this season. What are your thoughts about that?
so I think that we are going to win the treble this season, number one. Number two, I think Thiago is going to really, really help us with the midfield. Like we needed that creative thing in our midfield, even the last season. The season before that was amazing, but last season it was more of us being a lot of more awesome than the other teams. This time we need to put our best game on. That is needed. And then Jota was, let's just all take a minute and hail Michael Edwards. Like that man is the main hero that can ever happen to any team. Now that signing, like in the span of like 24 hours, right? We needed depth in our front attack too. We could have got someone like a high price player, like maybe who was of the Suarez level, or maybe Werner or someone like that. But we would have to had to pay more, and that I think would have had resulted in giving them more playtime too, right? And we couldn't afford that with there already being Salah, Mane, Firmino, the best three in the world already there. So with Jota, there is this balance about him loving the team and him being okay with not getting the full time and then just adding on to the depth of the team, right? So I think we have our A level squad now. Plus, there is also this thing that we have the backup for the left back with Simicus there with all his Greek god hotness. Yeah, it's going to and skills, of course.
You just have to address the elephant in the room.
Girls will be girls, right?
Appreciate the whole spectrum of things, right? Like from skills to looks.
If you don't give them credit for how they look, besides how they play, that's just taking a skill away. I mean, it's not right, right? You can't disregard their beauty, right? You
Yeah,
can't do that.
totally. Like men will be men, girls will be girls.
Okay,
Come on.
we've lost you on the
I think we've
Shivangi,
lost Chris
if
over
I
that
may ask you something
conversation.
else, you just said you quoted that you couldn't see Michael Edwards going for some expensive player that you said. Have you told to everybody? Does everyone know that Shivangi has a personal campaign going on that is Mbappe 2021?
Throw me out. We
So
needed to save for Mbappe, right? Like, bro, we couldn't go for a very expensive forward this season because we have planned it for 2021 with FSG going public, most probably. FSG and Henry are already working for the dream in action. Like, they're taking substantive steps. So, as a fan base, we need to just start campaigning already for a welcome for Mbappe and start with the Mbappe hashtag 2021 already. Please,
We'll
please,
all chip in.
please.
I don't think
she would name her whole insurance policy if that would work. Chipping in money to get Mbappe to Liverpool.
Going to get this jersey named after Mbappe like this season only. But then Thiago came in and I was like, I have to do justice to Thiago. Next season, it has to be Mbappe.
I think
Nice.
Shivang is going to put, write Mbappe on the front of her shirt, not on the back. So
Yeah,
that kind of
something like
support
that.
is gonna come.
Wear it how they won after winning the Premier League. Remember? That's how I'm going to wear the shirt with boss.
Okay, that's fine. So, I
I
have
think
a question for Pooja now. So, it's a cliched question, but nevertheless, who is your favorite player from this squad and why?
From the current squad.
Yeah, the current squad.
From the current squad, my favorite player is Bobby Firmino, and I don't know why people always, whenever I get this question and then I tell them, oh, my favorite player is Bobby Firmino, and they'll be like, not Salah, not Mane, why Firmino? They ask all these, added questions along with that. But then I think everyone here will agree with me that the whole team is somehow built around Bobby Firmino. And then, of course, we get all these taunts about how he's the worst defensive striker in the league or stuff like that. But then, yeah, but then I think like like I just said, everyone here will agree with me that Bobby Firmino, he is selfless. His pace, he knows the correct positioning. That's the main thing with Bobby Firmino. I mean, which is also why like I just said, he is our best defensive striker. I think yeah, Bobby Firmino is my favorite player. So I mean, who according to you is your favorite player from the current squad? So that
See, it's a cliched answer, but I can't just lie about it. So my favorite has been Salah for the past 3 seasons, and he's my personal favorite. So there is a lot of slander and banter that comes across that he because he misses so many chances. Even our fans, a lot of them, they would want to just say that Salah is being shit, if I may quote. But what I don't understand is that we keep on slamming him for not being out of form, and then he's still in the run for the golden boot. You just explain it to me, all of you. You watch football. How can you call a player, horrible and still have him compete among the best strikers in the league? I mean, that match does not add up to me. I mean, I just can't relate to it. And the fact that Salah was criticized for being selfish, throughout the 17, 18, and 18, 19 season. If I may quote, so I think it's such a ironical thing that we as fans, we want our strikers to just, go and score and score and score and but when they, go a notch extra, mile extra for themselves and, probably obviously, I mean, they have to be selfish. We want them to score, but then, we are the ones who criticize them. Plus, with Salah, I think if you observe him now in this season, he has changed his game so much. He has started making so many chances. His work rate has increased. I think he has done his fair share of misses, but he's still, he's going to be my favorite. And yeah, I think it's Salah, undisputedly.
that's nice.
One question for you. This is your first season in Fantasy Premier League. How is
Yeah.
it going?
Shivanga
Like
getting a
I
full
mean,
I
form of
have
fantasy
this
Premier League.
inside information. She being like acing people and just topping the league table and all those things. Like
okay. That's just because she is my guide. She's like my senpai. I ask her, I'm like, what should I do? Should I put this
Oh,
person? Yeah,
oh,
I
this
take
is
her.
there's a
all
So
due
background
to
story on
so
this. Oh.
she's denying it. Okay, but so every time before there's the deadline. Okay, every Saturday. So it's an unsaid rule that 2:30 or 2 o'clock we'll get on a call and then we'll talk about all the whatever nonsense stuff and then we're like, हाँ भाई, what transfer are we supposed to do? And we'll discuss it and we do it. So it's like a mutual thing. So every season I see people going nuts that, Arey, why isn't Sterling scoring? I'm like, how can you root for Sterling? What is wrong with you? And then they tell me he's my captain and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I don't understand. But this season, since now I'm a part of the FPL community, I can totally say I was watching Wolves play the other day and I'm sitting there, I'm like, please Rahul, please score another one. I mean, I think FPL is something really great for every football fan. Why? Because it gives you an opportunity to observe other teams also. Because even though you do it out of your own, whatever concern, but then you get a chance to understand and know them better. So it's been pretty good. I'm still Thanks to you, Shivangi.
Talking FPL with a woman is a different ball game altogether. That's like in my experience, because women have this intuitive game on. Like they understand players so much better. Like I guess she was the only one who I know, other than every other guy who plays, who retained Sun, who understood Mourinho's mind games last game weeks.
Yes, yes.
What women in football are, dude. Like, yeah, that's been nice.
That's great. I think people who play FPL should comment down below. Okay, so we'll go on with questions. I think we have like great questions here. So I'll go with the next questions. That's for it's for Sarah, and it's for Srimanti Ray. So Sarah, she says, "Nice to see you all. Just wanted to know how has the love for football changed in South Africa after the World Cup? How popular is Liverpool compared to the other English clubs?"
Change that all. South Africa is quite a we've got in South Africa football's called soccer, and local football is enormous. So the love for football has never left. It's always been there. And I think you asked about the international supporters in South Africa. Was that part of the question?
Yes, I believe. I believe so. Yes.
Overall, the international team, you wanted to talk about the ladies team too, how well they are performing. So please to share that also with us.
Sorry, Chris, just repeat that for me.
We want to know about the international team. I mean, we know we know the men's team a bit after the 2010 World Cup, but I'm sure the women's team are also performing really well. So, would you want to give us some inputs on the women's team and their progress?
The women's team in South Africa is far better than, or they've performed far better than the men. Since 2012, they qualified in 2012 for the Olympics, and for the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2019. I think all the matches were lost, but the fact that they qualified was enormous. That was a massive, massive achievement.
Right, and regarding the women's team, we have seen a lot of videos coming on YouTube that the women's team entering the stadium with a lot of good vibe. There's this fantastic video that we have seen, and a lot of us have seen. I mean, do you think the women's team are performing a lot better than the men's team, like the US national team? I mean, their female team, I mean, ladies team is performing a lot better than the men's team. Is it the same case with South Africa currently? Sarah, are we
I
audible to
seem to
you?
be having a connection issue.
Can you hear us? We'll come back to Sarah. So I would like to thank Saubhagya to come on, like for coming on the show. Thank you, Saubhagya, for giving us your time. I hope you had a good time. We loved your questions. So thank you, Saubhagya. We hope you continue watching our
I
show
had a
until the
great
end.
time talking to everyone. Thanks, Krishnendu. Thank you, Rupta. Also, all of you guys, we're going to win the league.
Yes.
It was good seeing you all. Bye.
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 See you.
Bye. Bye.
All right. There's one question I would want to ask Sejal directly over here. So this is like addressing the elephant of the room, the last match. I mean, Aston Villa. This is like where do we start? What went wrong? What went right? I can't say that. Anyway, so the question is basically, do you think this Liverpool players who played that particular match and were they like out of focus, or is just a one-off thing, or is it going to be like quite affecting the season as we progress?
With this question, I feel like Janta is asking Modi, "Achhe din kab aaye?" So I don't know where to start, and I think my opinion will, I may get, I mean, many of you will not like what I'm going to say, but I think we should not blame Adrian like totally. I think with with an individual player, I mean individual mistakes, you can concede couple of goals or 3 goals, 7 goals. There were 11 players on the ground. Yeah, Adrian was more visible, and he certainly made those silly mistakes. But we were missing two important players, one Edison and one Thiago. Sorry, Mane. Yeah, we missed Thiago, but for
Henderson.
we look at the previous season, we were missing Mane and we were missing Allison. Allison is, he moves everywhere. If Gomez or this VVD, if they are struggling to stop a player, we can rely on Allison. But with this Adrian, we saw Adrian play like in many
With
games
this
last
Adrian.
season. I mean, we saw him play last season and we were winning trophies, so we didn't
I
realize.
just want to clarify that Adrian is a human being, and this means
Yeah,
no
I'm
disrespect to him.
see what I said. With an individual error, you can concede couple of goals. We conceded 7 goals, so I'm coming to players. So I'm
Okay,
going
we're
to
going to
say
take
something.
names.
I can see so many players unfollowing me after what I'm going to say. So let me come to those players. So we all were, disappointed with Lauren last season. Then we saw Gomez and Vivi play together, and that was pretty, comfortable season, more than comfortable season for us. But at this season, I think that even VVD is lacking that level of performance. We are creating so many, I mean, huge gaps there, allowing opponents to, even at least take try. They are trying to kick the ball in the net, and Adrian is not moving. So the second choice goalkeeper is making things easier for the opponent. I'm a huge critic of Gomez, as most of you may have known, because he's been struggling since the start of the game after lockdown. I'm not saying he's a bad player or he doesn't fit into our team, but things are not going well with VVD and Gomez there also. And
Should
then
so
midfield,
should we try Firmino as our striking defender, because he's a defensive striker, so we can change
we
roles
can
with
take a
him.
risk. We can take such risk. We tried Fabinho there in two matches earlier. But I also think that Firmino has been pretty casual these days. I mean, we saw him scoring couple of goals for Brazil, but
I think
he
his
cannot
eyes
score
turning
goals
red.
in Premier League. I like Firmino. I'm not against any player. I love all my players. But if you look at those goals were casual. You cannot score those goals in Premier League. And we miss Mane. He has been the key for us. I mean, when Klopp came, we all know he was, making team move around Firmino. But we have seen Mane doing more than one job. So for me, the team evolves around Mane at this time. After the previous season, I also love Salah. I love when Salah scores. I love when anybody scores. Even I used to celebrate Lovren goals. But I think we are playing with the same strategy with different teams, and these players are not getting together.
There's this
So
Henderson too.
yeah, exactly.
Without
We don't
Henderson, we
have
are
the
like,
midfield that connects with our defense and the front three. And also we have conceded almost third. I mean, total of third. I mean, so many goals. You can't blame only Adrian for that.
I,
I'm
I
We
thinking
can.
think
this
I
and I'm
think
like,
I was
"Hey,
I think I was having this
anyway, I don't know
discussion
what
with
to say.
Mariam last
I mean,
day as well.
I was totally blank after that match, and when I saw this female team playing against United on Wednesday, I was like, man, half of these players can play in the first team. You see this Foster, she can easily replace Adrian. You see Clark, you see Furness there.
Okay, we are
I'm not
going
even
straight for
joking.
Adrian now. I think
We'll,
I
we'll
was
keep
having the
the,
same discussion
I
with.
think we need to keep the yeah Adrian bashing a bit aside because I think he's watching our show. He's gonna block all of us. So that is so let's not get into his bad books. So we'll stick to this topic, but there's a question for Mariam this time. So of course you're talking about Aston Villa, the match over there, the match we should not name. But looking back, 3 4 months when Project Restart was like when Liverpool started with Everton and we are on the brink of winning the title. Just after winning the title, there has been a dip of form. I mean, there has been players who have been lethargic with their approach. They have been inconsistent. So, do you think that this Aston Villa match was required? Not the amount, I mean, the 7 to defeat, but this reality check was required for a lot of players to get back to understand who they are playing for?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, no one wants to lose 7-2. I mean, funny enough, when I was watching the game, I think after 3 or 4 goals went in, I just stopped watching and I was sort of standing on the stairs, listening to the TV from a distance, following how the score was going on social media. I had a bad feeling that we were about to get smashed as bad as Manchester United. I didn't think it was going to be 7-2. So it was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. I don't think I've ever watched Liverpool play so badly. And, you know, I've been following Liverpool absolutely 100% for God knows how many years. But I think it's only natural. You know, this idea of Liverpool being the mentality monsters, you know, they've been going at it. I mean, think about all the kind of really tough games you've had in the last season or two where they're maybe 1 goal down or they're drawing, and in that last moment they always get that goal. So they've had such high intensity that I think that once they sort of got to where they wanted to be, so first of all they won the Champions League and then they won the Premier League, of course, like there's going to be a natural dip because it's that release. You know, you've been playing for something for so long, you've got this fantastic manager, a fantastic team, and then eventually you get to that stage where you've won everything. You know, you're going to say, all right, I want to have a bit of a break. And I think what's happening is also perhaps some players are tired, or perhaps they have this idea that, you know, we're Liverpool, we don't have to show up. So yeah, this result was needed. But, you know, when it comes to Adrian, I don't think you can completely, I mean, I don't really blame him because they were all the, you know, they play as a team. I think Klopp said that as well. You know, yes, he was to blame. But, you know, Van Dijk, Gomez, they should have been backing him up. I mean, they know that when they play the high line, like I said, you know, Adrian's a shot stopper, so he's not going to be Alisson. If they know that, they don't have Alisson on the pitch. They've got number 2 goalie on. You know, give him a bit more cover. I know that he's not ever going to be our number 1 keeper, but I think he doesn't deserve, you know, all the hate, and especially with Gomez. I know you were saying it before as well, but you know, look what happened when he came off. 3-4 goals still went in. So again, I don't think we can blame any of the individual players. They all just had a really, really crappy performance, and you know, I fully expect them to win against Everton.
So, do you think that Klopp should have made more changes in the squad than we played? Like maybe we could have allowed Shaqiri more time, or maybe have had a better defensive back, or maybe like given other players a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe he should have. Well, the thing is that, I mean, you know, I think you have to say in Klopp we trust. He's always done the business for us. I mean, look what he's done in his 5 years. But I think maybe he could have made a few more substitutions a bit faster. Because when Minamino came on, there was a bit of a change. There was a bit of a higher level going on. But I think this was just a game that you want to count down the minutes and just never speak about it again, although unfortunately we are.
I think that was quite an interesting discussion about the last game.
In Adrian,
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
sorry, I think in Adrian's defense, though, he's not the only player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Correct.
Everything can't be lumped onto him. And also, I think this was our biggest defeat since 1963, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So, again, I'm giving away my age here. I wasn't born there.
Going to be the historical treble
If you're
season
gonna
too,
lose,
right?
you might as well do it in style 7-2, huh?
Yeah.
So we will
I
have a Facebook, we'll move on to
I
that Facebook segment. Ruksha, yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll talk a little bit on maybe Indian football a little, and I think Shohini has a question for us. So, Krish, can you just yeah? So this question is for Shivangi. So Shohini asks, how do you think this current growth of Indian football fans would have an effect on Indian football circuit?
So I think with this whole European fan culture that we are slowly developing, we are focusing and trying to find out leagues more in our own country, right? Like we are giving, I think, more importance to the I League with ISL too, right? And then there's Robbie Fowler who's taking interest in Team India. I mean East Bengal, of course. But then
Yeah.
there's just a lot of shadow. Like the whole Liverpool fan base is already excited. The whole Premier League fan base is already excited about what he's going to put in the table now. And then there are these clubs who do these events like LFC events, Man United events, like in different cities, which really makes a individual want to go out and support their own team. In Delhi, we have the Dynamos Ultras who are trying day in and day out to get the whole fan culture running. In Goa, there is already the football dugout. This whole and with ISL and everything happening, they're more interested and more engaged in copying. I read, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, about this post about Conrad from Goa, where he was talking about how earlier the fan culture of cheering and everything wasn't present in the I League matches. But after the whole intervention of Premier League and this growing fan base, we are taking so much more interest, and out of the blue, everyone wants to go to the stadium and just witness the moment live. Like personally, after the corona ends, and if there is a match, if there would have been an ISL match in Delhi, I would have wanted to go there and cheer my hearts out. So I think yes, we are waiting. We want that to happen more, and just go out and support our own local teams. Yeah.
All right, so we are that's important. I mean, beyond of course every European football, Liverpool, Manchester United, it matters what we are doing in this country. I mean,
For our
football
country.
is still
Yeah.
growing. There's a lot of potential, and we have the potential. It's just a matter of time, dedication, a little bit of infrastructure, and just support from the management. We can be playing the World Cup very soon. So that is what we need. So moving on to our fourth Facebook question, and I think this is coming from Chandronath. It's for Pooja. Like cricket is to India, football is arguably the top sport in your country. How do you see Liverpool's craze in Nepal, especially after winning the Premier League? Did it have an impact on the rise of the new supporters? Do young Nepalese footballers have a favorite Liverpool player they want to become?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question because football, Liverpool's. I mean, I cannot say at present what kind of impact the Liverpool winning the Premier League have had in the current situation because we haven't been able to go out and see the craze, because of the pandemic. But I can actually tell you that after we won the Champions League in 2005, there was a massive rise in Liverpool supporters here in Nepal. From what I've heard, from what I've seen, anyone I meet, people my age, we were what 11, 12 back then, people my age, everyone, whenever we meet, whenever there's gatherings or screenings, everyone tells me that I became Liverpool supporter after Gerard's amazing game in back then in 2005, or his goal against Olympiacos. I became a fan after that. Most people I've met, you know most people I've met, they've become Liverpool fan after that. So I think after Liverpool won the Premier League, we might see a rise in young Liverpool fans here in Nepal. So I'm hopeful though, because anywhere you go, ever since we were kids, Manchester United were the most popular team here in Nepal. And after Manchester United, it is Liverpool. But then, yeah, I would like to see more young people supporting Liverpool over Manchester United. Yeah, I think that's that.
Ruksha, you might want to proceed with question from Mariam we have from Dibyajit.
Yeah. Can you just put this? Yeah.
Yes.
So we have the next question for Mariam. Mariam, how is it being an LFC supporter in London with majority of supporters being of the local top clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, and West Ham, etc.?
Well, funny enough, from my balcony, which is over that way, you can actually see the Spurs Stadium. So, I mean, we live in North London, so yeah, you get to see lots of Arsenal fans and lots of Tottenham fans. Doesn't affect me whatsoever. Because yeah, there's two of us. Me and my partner both. We absolutely adore Liverpool, and I couldn't care less where I am. I'm going to support Liverpool regardless. So.
So thanks, Mariam, for that answer. Dibujit, you have your answer from Mariam, who is from London, but an ardent Liverpool supporter. So it's not that hard. So we are from Calcutta, we're supporting Liverpool. So
Yeah. That's harder, I think.
So anyway, moving on to the last question, and this is for Sejal over here. So this is a question from Shubhajit. YNW everyone, Klopp has built a dynasty at Liverpool. He will eventually not be with Liverpool. We hope that never happens. Who do you think at present is the right heir to his throne? We have got a lot of candidates. So Sejal, what's your take on that? Is Sejal's screen frozen? I think.
Oh, I think so.
I think it is.
Just a sec. So we'll go back with that question a little bit later. We're waiting for Sejal to come back on screen. That's a very important question, I think. I mean, 2023 or 24 is the last Klopp season, and I can't believe a life after that. So it's difficult for me to even have.
I think his successor is very easy. I think we
I
all
just celebrated the 5-year anniversary of Klopp. I don't want to go there.
Everyone knows the natural successor is. There's one man. There's one man. There's one man. My cat is called his name. But it's not my cat. It would be Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard. Okay, that's an like we wanted Steven Gerrard. Yeah, we wanted Steven Gerrard before he joined Rangers. So was he like he could have joined Klopp as his deputy? But I think Steven Gerrard is ambitious on his own, and he needs to prove himself a lot. Like we have seen with Lampard doing here with his 500 million pounds to sell off the whole. So we don't want that with Liverpool. We have Steven Gerrard, who's doing quite well with Rangers. But what do you guys think about Pep? Like Pep, I mean, his assistant, Klopp's assistant right now. Shivangi, do you want to say anything about that? Pep, the current assistant manager of Liverpool.
He has an amazing philosophy, to be very honest, and he has done brilliant work with the junior team. And like last year, when they had to back up, and let me bring the Aston Villa game again, they conceded less goals than we did right now. To be fair to them, right? They conceded just 5, I guess. So I think he is brilliant. It's either him that I want to replace Klopp, or if Klopp goes after like not in 2024 but in 2030, let's say, and stays here for like more years then and gets another extension, then I would get maybe Steven Gerrard is also perfect for the role because he's working with Rangers. He's getting his own hands dirty and getting a hands-on experience on how to manage a team, how to win a league, and things like that. So only after 5 years we'll know which one is a better place and which one really wants to support Liverpool. Liverpool, both of them equally love the club. So it's, I think, a time will tell question. But right now, in the position, we have both the nicest coach and assistant coach right now with us.
So I'll just bring the question forward for Sejal once again. Sejal, Shubhajit is asking you, who's the right heir to his throne once Klopp leaves? So it's a very unfortunate prediction we are making right now, but we'll have to go with the answer.
Steven Gerrard.
This is like a separate answer we're getting. There's no chance of anybody else.
Exactly.
Nobody's answering whether Klopp will extend. Everyone is saying Klopp is
I
gonna go.
think
I don't
Shivangi. I
know.
think Shivangi did. I think
Oh,
Sarah
you
also
say,
wanted.
See,
see, I think there's a lifelong contract Klopp is gonna sign. Right from his,
Yeah.
even if he turns 80, he can't move around. He's gonna call everyone from his bed and he's gonna conduct the games like that.
even
So it's
after
gonna be,
100 years,
yeah,
even
yeah. It's
after
gonna,
100 years, if you want to make it, you have to take a decision even after 100 years. So
Yeah.
I'll still
right.
go with Steven Gerrard. Not 5 years, not 50 years, even after 100 years, my answer will be the same.
So we want two people to stay alive forever. So that's Klopp and Steven
Exactly.
Gerrard.
Steven
We have
Gerrard,
a very
right.
easy choice. We have a very easy choice to make, and I hope they're listening. So it's been a great show. We should be moving on to our next segment. And just want to thank every one of you, first of all. I mean, it's like we belong from a different time zone, but to mutually agree on this show, to come at the same time and discuss it, it's been a great show till now. And thank you guys for that. And moving on to the next segment, it's basically uh, I want to introduce a very special guest, a die-hard Liverpool FC supporter. I mean, currently he's living in Singapore, which is 2.5 hours ahead of us. So it's pretty beyond midnight for him. But he said that he's not going to miss out on this for anything in the world. So we are going to welcome Oni Kendu. So I'll tell a little bit about Oni Kendu before we go on to his part of the show. So he's obviously from Singapore, and he has worked with the FIFA Under 17 World Cup when that happened in India, and he's got a lot of experience in working with football enthusiastic. I mean, there are volunteers, there are people who work there as employees. So he has got something to share, first of all, and then a couple of questions, first to Sarah and then to Mariam. So, Onikenduda, you may proceed with your first of all experience and then your questions.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I mean, ladies, like I was watching it. It's an amazing show. Like we have Shivangi's Greek god hotness of Simikas, and then we are still trying to find out Sarah's age, and like, and Mariam has done the best signing ever in her partner, and and I think Adrian has already tweeted about Sejal about bashing she has given.
I didn't finish. Unlike other Modi, even I like to speak so much. So I didn't get enough time to, discuss the
I
whole
think
thing.
you and Krish should have a personal conversation. Krish has been tweeting like crazy for Adrian after that match.
I've been
Yeah,
provoking
To block you. Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, what Mariam and Sarah both mentioned, right? There were 11 players on the pitch. He was not the only person there. So I mean, everybody should raise their hands and say they should take the blame. Okay, it's a bad day, gone past. We should look ahead and like move. I think that should be the proper spirit. So I mean, really honored to have this opportunity to share screen with so many Liverpool fans, so many Liverpool ladies fans out there. I mean, it's really great. So Krish was telling me, so to tell about the experience that I had during the time I worked with FIFA for the Under 17 World Cup that happened in India. So basically there were a lot of good experiences, obviously on the field, off the field. I got to meet a lot of players like the likes of Jadon Sancho, Ryan Brewster, and a lot of them from the Brazilian team as well, like Alan, and Vinicius was there for a match. So apart from that, what I really got to see as the tournament progressed, or as we worked together, was that the amount of people who were involved with the entire tournament. It was such a 50-50 percentage ratio, sex ratio, I would say. Like there were equivalent number of women and who were working at par with men. And not only the that was the fact. There's another thing is that last 7-8 years, like I have been conversing about football, discussing, debating with female fans across the world, because like I'm an avid fantasy football player. So like I have been discussing, and whenever and wherever I talk to them, converse with them, even the show that you guys are putting up, the discussion, the level of understanding the game is so much at par with the men, or the guys following football. But it's very often that I see across social media or across other communication channels that women are often underrated, or shambled by men, stating that they do not understand, or they do not follow the game, or their arguments are not up to the mark, which I feel is like utter stupidity. I mean, pardon my words, but I absolutely feel that. So like I would like to ask, especially Mariam or Sarah and Pooja, like how do you deal with such stupidity? I mean, you guys have definitely come across it.
Pretty
I'm pretty
straightforward.
much sure.
Who wants to go first? Sarah?
So
Sarah can-
the short answer is you grow a very thick skin. You have to be very thick-skinned, and you just sort of have to ignore the opinions of others. Look, as a woman, we get questioned all the time, and the first thing that we get asked, I think Maria mentioned it yesterday, or not yesterday, on Friday when we spoke, is the first thing that men would usually ask you is, can you explain the offside rule? Well, can
Right.
you?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can explain it, and then I will correct you wherever you mess it up. So it's very frustrating, and I always crack the joke before they can, and I will say, yes, it means I'm outside the kitchen and not inside, so I'm offside.
Good one.
That tends to shut them up very, very quickly.
Yeah. It's like you raise the flag and decide I'll be the VAR and see whether it's actually offside.
Exactly.
Good one.
Well, I can also give one example.
Correct.
Sure.
So, well, I can actually give many examples. Can't all women, all women can. In fact, what I would say is, so my boyfriend, who is obviously a Liverpool fanatic, and he's like an encyclopedia. And in the last few seasons, I hope he's watching now, and I know you are watching from the other room. So for the last few seasons, he's actually been hating on Jordan Henderson. And he was saying, if Liverpool are going to compete, they're going to win big trophies, you can't have Jordan Henderson controlling the midfield. And I would always say, no, Jordan Henderson is the glue of this team. He's not just the captain, he is everything for this team. And I was right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you are.
So we can have Pooja also say a little bit on this subject if you want
Yeah.
to share something from your own, Pooja.
Yeah, I think, so the very first time that, I joined social media, Facebook was there, Twitter was there, the very first time I joined social media, and then, I started joining these Liverpool supporters groups. There were like two groups of people, one who were very fascinated by, a female Liverpool supporter. They'd be asking questions like, how did you end up being a Liverpool supporter, or who taught you football? And then there'd be this other group, like Sarah said, do you know the offside rule? Can you name 5 players? Who's the manager of this team? Those kind of questions. So I think along the way, like Sarah said, we have to have thick skin. So I think I started from then onwards, I started being very vocal about my support for Liverpool on Facebook or Twitter, or even when I meet people face to face, I started being very vocal, so that when we have those conversations again, or when someone younger than me or someone else has this conversation with a male football supporter, it'll be normal, So I tried to have conversations with, all those tactical conversations or football related conversations, so that it can be normalized in future. So I think that's how being a football fan is all about. Being a female football fan is all about. So I think, yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
one thing I would also add about being a female supporter, just to follow on from what Pooja was saying about the social media aspect, is that literally, who cares? Like, you don't have to be the best at knowing every single rule, but go for it. I mean, it's so much fun to be part of to be a supporter of any sport, be it football or whatever. It's fun to get involved with people, to have that banter, especially on social media. So just go for it. Who cares? It shouldn't. I think it is hard for women because we always get stick because we are women. People think we don't know stuff, but who cares? Just go for it.
And the thing is, we'll get abused by our own men. Men who also, you saw earlier on Twitter, when
that guy,
us,
right?
no thanks.
That guy.
No, well, they don't join us. It's fine. We have other people who want to hear what we have to say. But he actually took the time to reply to us. No thanks. I don't want to hear a bunch of women say things about a man's sport.
He's probably watching, so hello.
Hey, right?
Yeah, he probably is.
What I wanted to say, he's watching and
He'll be trolling us anytime soon, so keep trolling. I'm here for all your trolling.
You 18 followers.
I think that's a great question, Anukinduda, because I personally have felt this as well, and I don't think we should separate like this gender and that gender watching the match. We shouldn't say female football fans or male football fans. We are fans in gender. Like we shouldn't like separate the gender for and as like Mariam said, we should enjoy. Football is an emotion. It's not like we have to know the nook and cranny of every thing. So football is an emotion, and I think we shouldn't separate gender that way. I have faced so many. I have so many personal experiences myself, but I think I've grown thick skin, and that's how it is. So thank you
Sure.
you so much, Anukinduda, for taking your time.
Most welcome. Sure.
And asking this
Sure.
question.
You guys carry on, and YNWA will win the league this time, and Mbappe will sign for us next year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so I think that was a great discussion about the social stigma that we have, and I think that's why we are here today. And that was the whole idea when I had this idea of bringing all these ladies together. I think that was the stigma that I wanted to break. So thank you guys for joining. Very cordial. I think I say thank you too much, but I'll just move on to the next segment. There's a small fun segment that we have. So we'll have rapid fire questions for each of our panelists. I'm ready when you guys are ready. So
Okay.
first, I'll ask questions to Sejal. I'll ask questions to Sejal. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So first question is favorite Liverpool goal.
Steven Gerrard in FA Cup 2006.
First memorable match of Liverpool.
Liverpool versus Everton 2004. That was my first match when I saw Liverpool play.
Okay. Hendo or Thiago?
Henderson.
Favorite TV series?
Pardon?
Favorite TV series?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Cool. Okay. Dream signing for next season?
Mbappe.
Mbappe for 2021. I'll start this hashtag for sure. I'm going to start this. That's great. Thank you, Sejal. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I have Mariam for my signed Mariam for this. First question to you. First memory of Liverpool.
Oh God, I literally don't know. No, I can't remember.
Not a rapid fire, I guess.
I'm gonna lose this thing.
That's slow burning, no rapid fire. So, okay, that's a very difficult question right now. What would be better, Everton getting relegated or Manchester United getting relegated?
Or Manchester. Manchester, which one?
United.
Which is better, Everton getting relegated or Manchester United getting relegated?
Manchester United always.
Oh. All right. Mo Salah or Sadio Mane?
Ooh, I go with Mo.
Oh, more of Salah. Anyway, favorite movie?
Terminator. I don't know. Number 2.
Sarah is this flick. Madam
I
is
saw it
flicking.
last night. That's why.
Okay, the last one. A current rival player whom you would want in the Liverpool squad.
Kevin De Bruyne. Let's go with that.
Oh, of course. Why not?
He's
Every
Belgian.
club is Liverpool, so why? He plays for Liverpool. That's why. Think about it that way. Upsha, what to you?
Yeah, I think next would have been Sarah, but I think Sarah is probably having internet problems. So, Sarah, you
Are you
back?
back?
I think I'm back.
Okay, so we'll just move on with you. Are you ready
Can
for
you
your
guys
rapid
hear
fire questions? I think, yeah.
If I can hear you,
First,
yes, I'll answer.
yeah, first question is who is your favorite Liverpool player while growing up? I think we're in the theme of asking Sarah her age. Totally.
Can she? Okay, she can't.
Okay. Okay.
We
Okay.
should go
Okay.
back to
Connection
Sarah.
problem.
You can proceed with Shivangi. So your set
Yeah,
of questions for Shivangi.
okay. I'll just proceed with Shivangi then. Shivangi, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite Liverpool match?
The one where we won the Champions League against Tottenham. I think that is going to be burnt in my memory forever. Even though it was the easiest match, but not really the easiest, but yeah, that's going to be a very memorable and close to my heart match. The sheer season that we had.
Okay. Favorite Liverpool legend?
Suarez.
He's a bit
Uh,
funny.
Curtis or Neko?
Neko Williams.
Okay. Who's your favorite actor?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh, okay. I
Wait
share
for
my
it. We are
birthday.
going to get a lot of comments right now.
I
Everyone
share
wait
my
for it.
birthday with him, by the way. With which ex-LFC player would you want to watch a Liverpool match from the Cop end?
Suarez. Like, that is easy. Like,
You're someone obsessed with Suarez.
like that's a dream come true. Like, please, that is so much amazing.
He's a
That-
biter. Literally and metaphorically.
That's passion, okay? That's passion for the game. Anything to make Liverpool win, or anything he supports or plays for win. I mean, that's something I really look up to.
No doubt, he's a great player, great biter, great player, great. So, okay, we'll go to Pooja. I think you asked the first question from Pooja's to
Yeah,
Shivangi,
yeah.
so just interchange that. Okay, first question to Pooja. Favorite Liverpool player in the squad?
The current squad?
She
Yes.
Firmino.
answered it already. Yeah.
I've already been asked the question earlier.
Sorry, this was part of the draft, so I'm so sorry. So we'll move on to the
That's all right.
second one. One under 23 player who you think has the biggest future?
One under 23. I think Neko Williams. I like him a lot.
Trent Alexander-Arnold is still under 23.
No,
So
but then
you
he's
want to
playing for the starting
Senior
11.
team,
He's
right?
already here. He's already here for the senior team. So
He's the best 21-year-old, I think. Yeah. So Joe Gomez or Joel Matip?
Joe Gomez. Sorry. I know you've crossed your fingers for Matip, but
Yeah, you should see Seja's expression. She was hoping for maybe Fabinho to come up as an option. Favorite dish?
favorite dish?
Food,
Recipe
food.
dish?
Yeah, I'm into Korean food a lot. So yeah, maybe
Is it good?
tuna kimbap and stuff like that. Yeah.
Please share some of that so we can make it on our own. So last question. A retired player you hoped had played for Liverpool? any player, not Liverpool, but you hope to have played for Liverpool someday. A retired player.
A retired player. I don't know. I can't think of anyone actually. I mean, I was going to say Robbie Fowler, but then he's already with Liverpool. So I don't know. A retired player. Let's see. Let's just put in David Beckham for now.
Ah, nice. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, I was trying to ask if it would allow my favorite Paolo Maldini to be a part of your team. So, yes, we are waiting for Sarah to come in. Is Sarah anywhere? Can someone check with Sarah?
I'll just check. I'll check.
She's having some internet trouble, so we'll move ahead with the show. So, well, it's almost half an hour past our designated time. But we realize that it's 10:30 over here, and Onikendu, who has been in the lobby for quite some time, it's way past 12:30 over there in Singapore. So he has been following that thoroughly. Has been helping us with this. So, I mean, it's been a great show. Like, but then again, moving on to that last part of the show, we are waiting for like it's obvious. I mean, FPL is something that I've seen Shivangi talk about it. Pooja plays. Sejal, do you play FPL?
I don't play.
Sejal doesn't play. Or Mariam, FPL?
No,
Anything?
no, I don't have time for. No, no.
All right. I think we have Sarah back. Sarah, is it?
Hey.
Sorry, guys.
Is it cool now?
Sorry about that.
Is the connectivity okay now?
It seems to be.
Okay.
Ruksha, you can go ahead.
Let's keep our fingers
Questions.
crossed.
Yeah, I'll just do the rapid fire. It's rapid, so it should be done, I think. So, okay. Who's your favorite Liverpool player while growing up?
While growing up, Michael
Yeah.
Owen.
Okay. Okay. One Liverpool player you would like to go for dinner with?
Does it have to be a current player? Can it be an ex-player?
It could be anyone.
Anyone?
Pepe Reina.
Michael Owen? Okay.
Okay.
No, Pepe Reina.
Nice John.
Trent or Robbo?
Robbo.
Current favorite song that is on loop for you?
Ooh. Ruby Fields, Dinosaurs. Very good song.
Okay, we'll give it here. A rival manager whom you admire?
Jose Mourinho.
The special one, the chosen one, is a lot of.
I don't know if that's going to be a popular answer though.
I think he has fared quite well with Tottenham, and he is like a hero right now, and not that hated personalities he had long back. So we are all liking his documentary on Amazon regarding Tottenham. So there has been a change of personality for him.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got
yeah, of course. It's like without Jose Mourinho, you can't have football. I mean, his press conferences, his match touchline drama, it's like Jose Mourinho at his best every match. So that's you can't have football without Jose Mourinho's
absolutely.
tantrums. Yes. So anyway, moving closer to the end of the show. So we'll have a couple of FPL pointers from Shivangi. A player you must have in your FPL team, Shivangi. A Liverpool player you must have.
Liverpool player. Okay. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Like, you cannot move Trent. You just have to do Trent and Inshallah for the whole season. Simple.
So we are going to partner Trent and another player named Inshallah along with that. So no problem. So, okay, Trent and a non-Liverpool player you must have on your FPL team.
Rodriguez. Everton Rodriguez. He's amazing. He's having an amazing form this season. I mean, if you're not a penalty merchant,
Next match is against Everton. Don't say that.
okay, really, okay. He might have a bad week next week, but after that, he's going to be amazing. Like, you have to trust him.
He's gonna see a red card. So -3 for him. Okay. So all right. I think Rupsha's gone off for a while. So I mean, we'll go to a prediction game for right now. I mean, we'll start with Shivangi. So a prediction game is basically Liverpool are currently going to play the Premier League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. So where do you see Liverpool finish in all these three tournaments, starting with Premier League?
I'm a treble merchant. So, Premier League, Champions League, and FA Cup going to win. Okay, for run-ups, maybe okay. Maybe I think Man City, if they pick up their form, they're going to be the runner-up. Or I am hoping against hope it's Leeds that sustains their form and finishes next because they have been playing amazing football, dude. Like even the match against they stopped Man City, and it's just about squad depth and retaining what they have started with. So they're going to be
Okay.
runner-up there. Champions League runner-ups, Atletico Madrid against hope thing. Want Barcelona to be out in the group stages. Like that's one wish. FA Cup, I think maybe it's going to be Arsenal or Everton. I hope Everton wins.
You hope Everton wins. I'm going to get a lot of comments right now. Comments
Merseyside merchants, dude. Merseyside merchants. Merseyside over London any day.
Oh, Mariam, you have got something to say on that? Merseyside over London.
Merseyside supporter, dude.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the London teams don't rate. I'm not interested.
Yeah, no.
So we'll go to Pooja regarding the prediction. Just where do you see Liverpool finish in the Premier League, Champions League, and the FA Cup? Obviously, first with that, and I have your answers.
So there's this very interesting thing about LFC Nepal. We unanimously decided that we'll be making no predictions whatsoever. We've decided this unanimously since 2010 because every time we predicted we'd lose the game, we'd lose the tournament. From then we've decided that we'll be doing no predictions. But yeah, I think I am expecting at least one major silverware. So yeah, that's it.
That's enough. That's very diplomatic and safe. That's cool. So regarding, okay, highest goal scorer for Liverpool this season?
Salah. Easy.
Salah, easy. That's that easy.
Easy. Come on. Even in a 7-2 drubbing, the guy scores 2 goals. I mean, come on.
Salah and Mane scores the same number of goals.
Oh, Mane over here.
Top goal scorers. Because if you can't stop the goals, score the goals.
No, but Salah's vicious. We saw what he did, yeah? Selfish on the ball. The guy was just gonna. He hates not scoring. So I see, him 100%. But let's see.
Okay, unanimously, whom do you decide? I mean, predict as the best player for Liverpool this season?
Mane.
No, Thiago.
Mane.
No, not yet. I suppose not yet. I think we still have. I mean, yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think we still have to see matches and how the season goes. But for now, I think Mane.
So Mane the best player, Salah / Mane the highest goal scorer. Okay, Henderson I think is like crying in the corner.
No, the thing is that I think he's always their most valuable player. Like you can't like everything he does for that team, being the captain, being like the glue or whatever it is, he's the MVP every day, any day. But he won't win it this year, I don't think, because he won everything, all the accolades last year.
Right. So guys, this has been a fantastic show. Fantastic. So I mean, we have got tons of messages. We couldn't read it, like more than 5 or 6. We have got over 100.
Can I just read one message that is from Anirban Mukhopadhyay, and he has said, fun fact about Onikendu that he is the dad of Joe Allen. and my love for Joe Allen is endless.
Joe Allen is Jesus Christ. So just don't So he has that beard and everything. That's him. There's Joe Allen right there. Back pass merchant. Anyway, so it was great having all of you in the show. I mean, thanks to everyone agreeing to do this. A lot of people, and not just from India, we had a lot of viewers from all over the world. Thanks to all of you. Just a quick feedback from you guys on live. Shivangi, we'll start with you. How did you feel about this show? We'll slowly go from Shivangi to Pooja to that way. So on screen that way.
Thanks a ton for having me invited here, and like I'm really happy by meeting you all of you, and I hope we stay in touch. I mean, this has been a different experience to start with, and an amazing at that one. It's like more than 1 hour, and time flew away.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think I
thank you.
agree with. Yeah, I think I agree with Shivangi. I mean, we planned for an hour of a session, and it's already almost 2 hours, and we didn't even realize that it's almost 2 hours. So I think this has been so much fun. I hope we can do this again in future in person. If we can do it in person, even more better. And maybe we can continue the virtual session in future.
We have to kill COVID for that. Yes, we'll do that. Sarah, over to you.
It has been absolutely amazing. I would love to do this with all of you again anytime soon. It was phenomenal, and like we said, we planned an hour. We're on almost 2 hours now. It doesn't feel like it. It's been grand. I feel like I made a bunch of new friends.
You sure did. You sure did.
We should do this every weekend.
Yeah.
Post-match ranting.
Exactly.
So like
It
at
is gonna
least
block.
next 2 weeks, you would need us to.
Sejal, your view on the show?
Yeah, I had a great time. I'll keep it short. I don't want to say more, but hope I catch you girls more often, and we can discuss and we can show some more love to Adrian and Gomez in future. I love this guys. Nothing against them.
On thin ice right now. We're walking on thin ice. We have Adrian watching us from all over the world. So.
Yeah.
Maria, what do you have to say about the show? Yeah.
Well, I've had a brilliant time. Thanks to everyone, all the ladies and the one-man Krish. Honestly, it's been really a blast. And, just picking up on the theme of, women football supporters, I never wanted to take part in something like this. I mean, even as a journalist, as much as I am a football fan, I've done a few football stories, but I generally stay away from talking about football because, you think, oh God, I'm a woman. It's not really my bag. So this has been an eye-opener for me, and definitely I would like to, and I will start following Liverpool women's football a lot more. So thanks, guys.
Got a new fan. Sejal, add her to the supporters club. Right, Rupsha, this has been your first show, so even you have been integral part of the show. Your feedback on this whole thing have been integral part of the planning, obviously. So your feedback on the new friendship that we started today.
It's absolutely great, and I told this to you one night. I think that we should probably go ahead with it, and I've been seeing all the quiz shows and the International Cop Connect program that has been happening, and I thought maybe we can bring all the ladies together, and I think it has been great. And let me know if in the future you want me as host or guest, whatever. I'll be happy to do that.
Right. So that was brilliant from all of you. We have had, I think if you go to the Facebook page right now, we are expecting more than 1,000 views, live views on this show. So that's a great response on this. We hardly have 200, 300 for our show. So we are just a small Liverpool supporters club.
Girl power, I guess.
Girl power.
All credit. I mean, there's nothing that we could have done separately apart from you guys coming on.
And also we had this all female, chat show on the International Day of Girls.
Interesting.
Today is International Day of Girls.
Okay. I just slowly shift away from the screen. Anyway, it was great having you all. I think it's pretty late. It's quite late. So you guys have given a lot of time, more than 1 hour. It's close to 2 hours right now. So thank you guys. We'll sign off from here. So thank you. Thank you to all our viewers. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much, guys.